Hello there, and welcome to our daily Devo for Saturday, the 21st of October. The 21st of October. Today, our devotion's entitled "Jesus Heals a Demon-Possessed Boy." Jesus heals a demon-possessed boy. Matthew, Mark, and Luke, our usual threesome lineup here on these stories that our author has been sharing. We're going to talk about, I guess, in this one, our author says about the knowledge and faith needed to defeat evil spirits. The knowledge and the faith to do that. Jesus heals a demon-possessed boy. Starts off this way. We are not alone. We spend our weeks walking not only among people whom we can see, but among spirits we can't. Some are evil and intend to harm us. This story demonstrates that Jesus is the key to their defeat. The day after Jesus' transfiguration, the disciples were engaged in a heated discussion. A man whose son exhibited symptoms of epilepsy was pleading for their help. In this case, the cause of the severe illness was an evil spirit. Although the disciples had been given authority to drive out such spirits and had been successful before, Matthew 10, Mark 6, this time they failed. Jesus stepped into the situation, healed the boy, and then dealt with the disciples' question, why couldn't we drive it out? Jesus points to two problems. First, their lack of knowledge. First is their lack of knowledge. They had found success against other fallen spirits, and so presumed that whatever they had done before would work again in this case. Clearly, the spirit world is more complex than they realized. Jesus explained, quote, "This kind can come out only by prayer," in Mark 9:29. Their lack of knowledge was compounded by their lack of faith. When the Father approached Jesus, his own faith was shaken by the disciples' inability to help his son. Now he wondered if Jesus could help. We do represent him. To which Jesus replied, "Everything is possible for the one who believes." But how much faith was needed? The answer comes from the natural world. Jesus points to two objects that differ dramatically in size. The first one you could not miss, Mount Hermon. It dominated the horizon, soaring to 9,232 feet in elevation. The other was all around, but largely unnoticed because it was so small. The seed of the mustard plant. This may have been white mustard, one of the dominant species in the northern part of Israel. The smallest imaginable amount of faith, like that of a mustard seed, combined with knowledge, could do the unimaginable. Move the likes of Mount Hermon. The disciples, just like us, were always in a state of learning, trying to figure it out. Bear with me while I share this story based on this reality that evil spiritual forces are around. In the West, we've got the real world, quote unquote, as we see it over here, the physical world. But the spiritual world isn't really addressed by Westerners too much. But in other places, like Guatemala, like India, I know these places, I know people in these places. They recognize the presence of evil spirits at work. As a matter of fact, there's that thing that we were told by Paul, we're not wrestling with flesh and blood. Our battle is not against people we can see and hear and touch. Our battle is against the spiritual forces that manipulate them, that get a hold of them, cause them to be who they are, cause them to say the things that they say. When Sarah was home here last time, we had some very strange mechanical things happening with my computer and with my cell phone. We were in the middle of trying to get some things put together and done. And out of the clear blue sky, my phone just quit. The battery would not even charge. I figured that was the problem. Battery needed charge. It wouldn't do that. So I went to buy a new battery. Nobody had them for sale. Places I went to for my phone company, they recommended me down the road to somebody else. He recommended me down the road to somebody else, and nobody had one. So I had to order it. But before that battery came, well, I've jumped a point here. Sarah brought it up. Sarah said, I think there might be spiritual forces at work here. My computer was also barely running. And so we spent some time in prayer. Before the battery arrived, my phone was working again. My computer was working again. That was a lesson for Dad. For me, it was just technical trouble. I expected the whole problem to be about that phone, that computer. But in reality, it would appear to have been evil related, trying to keep me from accomplishing the things that I needed to get done with that equipment. And it was a lesson. It's a lesson. And we need to understand that. I think we talk about bad luck. We talk about, well, that was weird. That was running just yesterday. Now it's not. All kinds of different things happening in our world. Even the thoughts that we have. Remember when Jesus said he was going to go to Jerusalem and be arrested and be crucified there? And Peter says, no, we're not going to let that happen. Not you, Lord. Jesus right away recognized, that's not you, Peter, because you just got done saying, I am the Christ, the Son of the living God. That was revealed to you from heaven. These thoughts, these words, you're thinking like man. That's the way of the devil. Get behind me, Satan, he says to him. We need to recognize that and understand that when we're being tempted, when we're being led into depression or discouragement, that's the work of an enemy that is spiritual in nature. And that was the problem here. The disciples said, hey, this is the method we used before. We'll use it again, which sounds like we're going to trust in our own ways of knowing these things. We read the book. Here's step 1, step 2, step 3. It automatically happens. It didn't happen. And then Jesus let them know it's also about your faith. Demons have different forces. They do things in different ways in this evil world. And so you can't approach them the same all the time. Just like people are different, and you can't treat them all the same. You can't treat demonic forces the same either. But then it also becomes, we trusted in ourselves. We did not put our faith in the Lord. That was the disciples' problem that day. Jesus took care of it quickly, and he gave them a lesson. Prayer was important in this spiritual battle, and faith. Not just saying certain words, not just throwing some statement out there that seems to work all the time. Addressing the situation as it is, where it is, but with faith. Faith in the Lord, faith that he has the power to deal with these issues, and calling upon him. Blessings to you today. Make sure you keep your eyes open to what's going on around, and make sure we're not just ignoring the spiritual forces at work around us and in our lives as well. Blessings to you today on this